We had a scrimmage Tuesday with officials, and it was the first time I probably separated, let's just say, what was, as of Tuesday, the top 7 guys, and they played together. And so I think the good news is they played well, and I think the way it was received by the guys that, let's say the 6 or 7 guys that weren't in the top 7, I thought they handled it pretty well. I would say that the top 7 guys that were out there are going to wind up being in our top 9 or 10. Who, 7, 8, 9, 10 will be. We'll see that on Friday when we open up against Ekman. So you'll get a feel for who that is. So in other words, I thought the guys did well playing, and I thought the guys that weren't out there playing handled the fact that they weren't out there okay. And obviously most of our veterans are out there. Most of our newcomers aren't. And so, but that was the most pleasing to me. Of the 8 newcomers, 3 to 4 of them are going to help this team win. But they've all got to be ready to be more dominant players next year. That was what it was when they got here. That's what it is now. The question was who? Who was it going to be? We play. We've got our first scrimmage on Sunday, and of course the private scrimmages. We're actually going to go on the road for the scrimmage. And by rule, we're not allowed to even, talk about score or how it all, transpired, right? It was funny, by rule, right? Then the other day I was on searching the internet or whatever, looking at my Twitter, and I actually saw highlights of one of them. I'm like, how can that be? How can there be highlights of one when they're supposed to be private? I think it's a really good rule because it's going to let us go against somebody else. We're ready to hit somebody else. We're ready to see somebody else. And the key to the early season stuff is to get exposed. A couple years ago, we lost to a Division II school. We got exposed. I hope we get exposed on Sunday. I hope we get exposed a little bit next Friday night, because a week from Tuesday, it's Georgia Southern who's picked to win their league, and then it's Davidson, and then it's at South Alabama who's picked to finish 2nd or 3rd in the same league that Georgia Southern's picked to win. So the first 3 games are going to be really interesting, really challenging.
Of those 8 newcomers, Bruce, you talked a lot about Isaac and Stretch and Turbo.
Yeah.
Any of the others sort of stepped up and maybe showed they're ready to contribute?
I think Isaac's been terrific, and he will continue. He is such a dominating defensive player. I've only had one player in my career that could guard 1 through 5, and that was a young man named Stanley Gerard. Stan Gerard was a Division II national player of the year 2 times. And he's head coach at Indianapolis. And he was just a great player. Also 6'6". And so where Isaac plays is actually going to be interesting in the sense that I've been rotating him exclusively in the backcourt. And part of the reason why I want to leave him there is because he's our best guard defender. And I think that Javon and Samir and Isaac could be a great defensive backcourt. I may have said that last week, but that's kind of what I want. I want to instill that in them. I think that's possible. But Isaac can play more than just guard. I can move him around a little bit, and he's also got the basketball IQ to be moved around. Jamal Johnson, having been here a year ago, has an advantage because he practiced a year ago. He played at Memphis as a freshman. So it would be natural to sort of see him be able to get out there sooner than later. And I think the other guys, like you said, Ty at backup point guard, or Stretch at backup 5, or Jalen at the backup 4, have all showed promise. Devin Cambridge has been in a boot now for about a week and a half, and we're going to get some more information on him. He got hurt the Wednesday before we went on fall break, and we took fall break off, came back on that Sunday, and we had to put him in a boot. So he must have done something in that Wednesday practice, whether it was a stress fracture or not. He had something going on. When it comes to a stress fracture, it actually takes a couple of weeks to take pictures of it to see if there's been some bone laid down and some healing to know, it was a stress fracture. So right now, we're getting ready to take those pictures and see what it was. If there's no bone being laid down, then it wasn't a stress fracture, it was just a tweak, and he'll get back soon. If there is bone being laid down, then we'll see again how long he has to be out. Devin's got a chance to be in our top 10, he does. So it's an unfortunate thing for us and for him that he's out.
Has Anthony started to look more confident like he was before that injury?
You know, it's going to be interesting. I get asked that question a lot. Will Anthony ever regain that incredible, like, let's just call it a freakish athleticism, right? He's closer, but still, while he's incredibly explosive and powerful, it's not quite what it was, but it's getting closer. The skills are there, his shooting is there, his defense is there, his basketball IQ is there, his effectiveness as a player. But does he stay in the air as long as he did? I mean, not quite as much as he protected the rim. Now, that's in practice. Once the games come on, we'll see, you know, where he's at. But I'm just glad that he's back. I'm glad that he's healthy. We'll have to see this year, once games go, just whether or not that crazy athleticism is returned.
It's about Timber, we saw stretch
Yeah.
the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was kind of your secret weapon. How was his salary when he came in here? How much was it?
You know, for guys that spend time in the gym, I mean, it's like why limit or specifically pinhole somebody as this or that? Well, just because he's 6'9", he's supposed to be a back-to-basket player exclusively. And so I love to let players tell me, show me what you can do. You know, so like right now, Stretch wouldn't even like dream of taking a shot in the game. But I'm like, why not? I mean, if you're in practice, you're making 3 or 4 out of 10. He can add that. He will add that to his repertoire. Now, whether it's right now this year, I don't know. But he shoots it better than Horace shot it, right? And Horace was willing to take it. I just think nowadays it adds a great dimension. He's got a good ball flight. He's got a good release. It's just that he's never really thought about shooting it in the game. You know, why just keep that to win Horace games? You know. So I mean, I'm excited about it. Listen, 5 men that can shoot the basketball change the way you can play offensively. I mean, just watch the NBA right now. It's crazy. It's all they do now is 5 out. It's almost all they can do, because you bring anybody down into the post and now the lane gets clogged, and it's I'd like to think the NBA is starting to look a little bit more like the way we've played for the last 20 years. But so yeah, I'm excited about his ability.